It's a game. It's called Risk. It's the 1980s edition because belly rolls. Anyway, it's the 1980s edition because this is the one I grew up with in my father's house. I played it with him, and he beat me at it almost every time. Go figure. Someone 33 years my superior. I was in fifth grade when I first opened up this game that my father had in the basement, among other games he had. Uh, it was in a different sort of box than this exact one. This is not the exact game I had from my father's. I think he still has it. I drew all over the board. I added different boundaries. I added more connections between water. But if you want to know how to play, there are these rule books they publish. Before we had internet, we had books, and we used them to learn how to play. So you can read it. I'm not going to read it to you. I believe in you. It's the page. Anyway, after you've read that rule book, there you go. It's going to be a game of playing to the death. You ready to play to the death with me? Okay. What happens first is we decide who goes first. So we're going to figure that out. I have all these colors here, but there are only 5 dice, so we got to do it a little bit tricky. So we're going to do the black people, not like race stuff, guys. Are 5, okay? There's red people, 6. These brown people, 2. It was the 1980s. Yellow people, 4. Blue people, 2. Okay. Where this is the highest. I'm gonna re-roll this one over here. Okay. This is the first. Then this. Then this. So it goes red, black, yellow, green, and then blue or brown. Oh wow. Oh wow. Did you see that? If I had friends over there, we would have made a big deal out of like getting those 6s in a row. Okay, 4 and 2. Okay, so the blue is slightly more before the brown. All right. So we're gonna do it in this order. We're gonna go reds first, right? Then it was the black. Then it was the yellow. Then it was the green. Then it was the blue. And then it was the brown. Yeah, I know I'm blocking the board, y'all. All right. But we'll get there. So you get 4 types of units. And the unit types are shown in Roman numerals, which, display their strength. So if you're familiar with real-time strategy games or other kind of fighting games, this is one where you would fight by rolling the dice to add a little bit of chance. But the number of troops you have would be the number of people you have to fight. So the larger the army, the longer it can last through a battle. But it doesn't mean the dice like you. Let's just be real. So those are the little troops. This is the map. This is how it looks. We would then use the cards. And there are, slower versions of like picking one and placing them. There are, shuffle and deal versions. I'm going to do the shuffle and deal version. There's even a way where, you have people pick, where they want to go each turn in a row, like that. And they'd be like, oh my gosh, I got Ontario. And they'd be like, I live in Brazil. But that's technically not the rules. You're allowed to do that. Once you have a board game at your house, as I said, I drew on my dad's. So you're allowed to do what you want to it, kinda. You just can't reproduce it for sales without asking Hasbro. That's his name, Hasbro. He was a bro. He has a bro. Anyway, Hasbro. So we're gonna shuffle these one more time because I always like them to shuffle 3 times. That was a bad shuffle. All right. I'm gonna just separate them behind their, wherever their color thing to randomly select it. And this is one way of distributing the territories over the world because all the territories will be claimed in the beginning of the game. And then your goal is to become the owner of all the territories, or essentially to play as long as the other players surrender. It is a bit like a Monopoly game, but instead of owning the whole board with, taking over people's properties by buying them and such, this is one where you try to take over the whole map through dice play and, strategy with how you attack weak points, etc. So now that I've done this, we can set aside these cards over here so that I can start to fill in. So we get Scandinavia goes to the red, and then this one, I let the player double, but it's technically a wild card. That's not in the rule book. But I'm like, oh, you get to double up if you want. Cool. Back to Scandinavia, and that's the red player. That's not how you play the game. By the way, you hear fans because it is a very, very hot day. I'm not even wearing a shirt, y'all. And it's going to be that way. I'm going to put the cards down here because they'll be, I'm out to shuffle them again, but they'll be here. This is the black now. So as you can see, they don't start with much territory when you split it up like 6 ways. So, Alaska, Siberia, India, China, Southern Europe, Northern Europe, Guinea. Who they get to add another level up to, and they're going to China because that to me makes sense to me. Oh well, I'm not going to be perfect. Ever. But here we go. Well, let's not make them fly everywhere. I guess this video is about particle physics, partially. This is this is a long game, guys. It's one of those games where you played back before video games existed, so that you could like spend the whole day with your cousins when your parents were having a family event, and then like you could like 6 hours later, your parents were like done with the family event, and you're like, okay, we're still playing the game. And like, my cousins have half the map, and they're now like we're roughhousing, and they're throwing the pieces at me, and they built a real pillow fort, and then they're hiding their pieces under the pillow fort, and I'm like, I want to play the game, and they're like, we have all the dice, wrestle us for it. And anyway, family events. How were yours as a child? That was all theirs. And then the turn order is still important, so that's why I should probably keep these in some sort of order that I remember. Because if you're the last player, like you gotta wait till everyone to attack you, and all you get to do is like wait until like, oh shoot. So player 6, the brown. I mean, I'm not trying to have anything to do with the ways that people use colors and people groups, but hey, this was made in the 80s. So when I say these words, I'm meaning literally what this game is doing, but maybe this game trains people to be able to speak this way. Oh my. I don't think North Africa is red. Was there? Wait. 1 second. Sheets. Ukraine's very big. That's a very big political statement. Let's quickly check back in time. See if the red had any African territories that I might have bumped by accident. East Africa, yes. It is very hot. My dog's in the room. I hear my dog really getting restless. He might come into camera shot. I don't know. I love my doggo. Okay. That was the green chords. Indian. Oh my gosh, flying. Okay. South Africa. So we're getting very much into like the partition of Africa idea. But anyway, like all of these places are like owned. So I guess the game kind of is based on the idea of like, the big imperial powers that split up the globe, over like realms of control during, the times of global European colonization and all that. I mean, yeah, the Ottomans did some stuff in the Middle East, but like, they didn't go over the ocean. I mean, the Ottomans might have had like, okay, Middle East, Egypt, North Africa, ta-da, like 3. When Britain gets like Canada, right? Australia, South Africa, for a while, Egypt and East Africa, India, like if we were being accurate, right? I think when I was that age, I would like use historical maps sometimes because I went to the library a lot. I don't think you learned that about me yet. I am a librarian. And I would go to the library on like historical atlases, like I'm gonna recreate this world from that time period, and I would like that's why I would draw lines. Was like, this boundary doesn't exist, so I gotta add a boundary, and I did. My dad was mad at me. I drew all those lines on his game. Anyway, my dad's probably gotten mad at me for other things than that. Supposedly I drew on the walls when I was little. I don't know. I think sometimes my brother did it, and then he blamed it on me too. But where do the brown folk live? Probably wherever it is still open, right? Iceland, the Middle East. the Northwest Territory, the Eastern Australia, Yakutsk, Afghanistan. That's big. Like, I'm sure that's gonna make some people feel some type of way. Venezuela. I'm sure this game makes many people feel type of way when they look at it. I'm like, oh, Ukraine goes all the way to the Karetsk. Is that what it's called? The Karetsk? The Bay of Finland? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Karetsk Sea? Karelia? Words. Words in geography. This is the game. And then you would reshuffle these because, like, you know, physics. You would reshuffle things because you don't want to have like predictability and like who gets the cards. When you have a conquering time where you get to like roll the dice and conquer people, you would gain a card, and then every time you have the ability to make a set, almost like you're playing poker or whatever, like you can match the cards by color, by unit type, and that's where the wild cards come in, the ones where they have all three unit types on it. I don't know if I can show you one real fast. Where is the girl? Oh, come on. They exist. Uh, ta-da! That's a wild card. So you could match it by color, unit type, or like if you have three, like one of each unit type, or if you happen to have like three of the ones you own, I think is one of the rules, or maybe that's a house rule, I'm not sure. Then you're able to trade those in and you get more reinforcements at the beginning of each turn. So at the beginning of each turn, you would like count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, red gets 7. And then you divide that by 3. So every 3 territories can produce 1 new unit. That's the math of the game. They don't do like supply chains or like it's just the easy math of every turn. You get 2. You get a unit for every 3 you own. So I have 7. That's 2. So I would get those 2 for the reds. And just to not be like completely unfair, they would have everyone do their reinforcements during the same phase. So there'd be a reinforcement phase. So like whatever, we're gonna try to really, we're gonna connect Alberta and Greenland, and then maybe to Scandinavia. I don't know. That's like a little chain we could do, like the Red Vikings. I don't know. And then you would have each people group be filled up equally. The blue really got 3 in Africa. That's cray cray. Good for them. But anyway, that would be like a reinforcement phase. So I'm guessing each probably get about 2 troops. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Syrian. Yes. 2. These, I will tell you, due to the way that screens have ruined the world, I don't have the patience for games like this as much anymore, which is so sad. But like, because if I want to teach this to future generations, I'm gonna have to sit through all this tinkering, right? And they are the yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, they get 2. Okay. Let's say we are gonna be over here. You know, we're gonna be Siberian, the yellow. I don't know. I got some concentration here. See, that's the idea. Like, down here it shows points awarded for if you control the whole continent. Now, the bigger the continent, the more points you get. So there's kind of a strategy in first hand securing a continent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7, 3 et 2. Donc, on va. They got 2 in the U.S. They're going to be American. Come on. That's. Americans are green because they aliens. It's an immigrant nation, y'all. We are aliens. Come on now. Less than 2% of people in the USA are native to the land of the USA. Come on now. Let's just be realistic. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was not the language. I just said it. 7 divided by 2 is, or 3 is 2. And where they have the most concentration? And there's, oh, Africa. It's going to go in the Congo and they go just berserk it. I mean, that's where a lot of militant groups are coming out, taking this pocket out of militancy. Because, you know, it's easy to be self-sufficient in the jungle. Come on now. Oh wait. واحد اثنان ثلاثة أربعة خمسة ستة سبعة. Where are they mostly? Brown. They're in the Middle East. Okay. I mean, like, we're not trying to be racist, but that's where they're concentrated. That was the luck of the draw. You saw the cards. Okay, so then let's get through like one attack phase. You see how the whole dealio works. Okay. Where should the red attack? Well, they really want to connect with Greenland, so they should go to the Northwest Territories or Ontario. Okay. Who has the yellow over her, the brown or there? So we're gonna go with the yellow could get over to us faster, whereas the brown, you know, kind of spread over there. And they could do this, but like they gotta go through them. So I'm gonna do Alberta to the Northwest Territory. So they send in 2. Okay. So of the attacker's dice, they get 1 less than there are. So there are 2 red, but they get 1 less dice, and that's they get 1 attacking die. And the defenders get the number of people they have, but they're only a limit at the most of 2. So it's going to be a 1 die to 1 die. The red are the red. Let's see. And the brown is the white die. Whoa, the brown win. The red lose a troop. And because they're always 1 minus, they can't attack with just 1. So they go back. And that's risk with Curtis. It's a high-risk game, as you can see. It takes hours to play. They didn't win, so they would not gain a card. See how that works? And then you would do all that. You know, Congo would be the next people to probably attack because they're only 3. So as you see, the game kind of operates slowly. It's a slow build. Once you get a whole continent, like if Australia gets taken, South America gets taken, then that group who takes it gets 2 more per turn on top of their regular reinforcements. So instead of 2 per turn, you might get 4 per turn. That's a lot. Double, right? So that's Risk, the 1980s edition. Come get your own. Again, if you don't know how to read, this is how it looks. These are the rules explained. There's a modern edition. There's a European-only edition. There is, I look like the newer one has different things you can do. There's about reinforcements. There's all the rules. There might even be modifications you could add. Have a really good time playing your risky game. Oh no! That's when the comet strikes.